Hello, welcome back to my channel. I am Amber from Amber's Books and More, and today I have my January wrap-up. I didn't do quite as well as I'd hoped, but let's just go ahead and jump right into that. Okay, so for the month of January, I have read 7 books, and according to my Goodreads, I'm 2 books behind schedule. I don't know, I seem to be enjoying reading books a little slower right now. You know, I did take one book and it took me like 2 weeks to read it, and then the next book I read in one day, and then the next one took me like a week to read it. I don't know, it's all over the place. I have been doing more like editing, writing, and other life things. I'm going to be moving soon, so I just haven't had enough time to read. But I'm excited on what I did read because I read some really great stuff this month. So let's jump right in and do it. The first book I read was Lies She Told by Kate Houlihan. This was a Book of the Month Club book, and this was for, when did I get this? September of last year. So I did finally get this one finished. It wasn't my absolute favorite thriller. I think that I gave this I did end up giving this 4 stars, and it was because the ending was really well done. So basically this is about a woman who is a writer, and so like one chapter will be her, and then the next chapter will be the book that she's working on. You know, you're actually reading the book that she's writing. That part was really interesting and what kind of drew me into the story, being a writer, but it did start to get confusing, but that was on purpose because then it started to just really make a lot of sense. I did not see the ending coming that much. I saw it a little bit like right before it happened, but overall it was a decent thriller. It wasn't the best that I've ever read, but it was decent. Alright, so the second book I read was The Rules of Magic by Alice Hoffman. This one was also a Book of the Month Club book for November of 2017. And this one is basically a prequel to the story of Practical Magic with the 2 sisters that have the ants. Well, this is a story of how the ants grew up. This was a very much a magical realism, slow burn, family dynamic kind of story. It was really beautifully written and I enjoyed it a lot. However, I did only give this 3 out of 5 stars. It wasn't as good as I was hoping it to be, but if you do enjoy a story about witches that isn't super witchy and is kind of more realistic, this might be the book for you. And I'm realizing as I'm looking at my stack that the majority of the books that I read this month were Book of the Month Club books. I guess I just decided to get my butt caught up on those. The next 2 were not Book of the Month Club books though. This one was Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone, Philosopher's Stone. I'm holding up this as a representation, but I actually decided this year that I wanted to reread the entire series, 1 book a month, on audiobook because I've never listened to the audiobooks, so I was interested in how those worked because before 2017 I never listened to audiobooks. So this one is Jim Dale or Jim K. No, Jim Dale. James Dale, something like that. He narrates it. He does a great job. My favorite character that he voiced was probably McGonagall. She had a really thick Irish accent and I loved it. But it did bring a little bit of magic back from the Harry Potter series, and I'm really glad that I decided to do this. And I'm excited for February to get to the second book of Harry Potter. It just won't be during the Contemporary-a-thon, which you will see that TBR coming up Friday, so keep a lookout for that. Okay, so the next one I read was a graphic novel that I read on Hoopla, and it was Saga Volume 8. I really liked it. So Saga Volume 7, which I read last year, was like a lot happened, like you left it crying, it broke you down, and Saga Volume 8 kind of started to rebuild some relationships and even show some new relationships that were happening, but I really enjoyed that one. I believe I gave it 5 stars because I love Saga. And also gave Harry Potter 5 stars. I mean, duh, right? So the next book I read was The Woman in the Window by A.J. Finn. This one is also Book of the Month Club book. This one was my January 2018 pick. So this one is very new. This one is about a woman that has agoraphobia and watches people out of her window. She happens to see her neighbors, something happens, and it throws her into a loop of mystery, and it was so good. My gosh, the mystery of this thing, I did not see what, you know, the twist coming. It got like multiple twists. I did not like when the mystery was solved, I was like, what? I mean, it was really, really good. I gave this 5 stars on Goodreads, and this is probably already starting out to be like my favorite thriller of the year. And I'm only in January, but I think it's going to be hard to knock this one off of its throne, honestly. So the next one I read was, of course, this is the last one I read for the month, and it was another Book of the Month Club book. And this one was The Wife Between Us by Greer Hendricks and Sarah Pinkanen. I don't know. This one was my December 2017 pick. So this one is about, it's kind of like about a woman. You know what? Let me just read the synopsis because it's hard to explain. But it says, when you read this book, you will make many assumptions. You will assume you are reading about a jealous ex-wife. You will assume she is obsessed with her replacement, a beautiful younger woman who is about to marry the man they both love. You will assume you know the anatomy of this tangled love triangle. Assume nothing. And then the next part, you know, it says it's twisted and deliciously chilling. I wouldn't call it chilling. It's not like on the horror side of thriller, but it was twisted. It had so many twists. I saw some coming, some I did not see coming. The very last paragraph was like, whoa. I just wish they would have like went more with that angle that they went to the very end and kind of expanded on that, because it was such a good twist at the very end. I did give it 5 stars and I did love it. I just did not love it quite as much as The Woman in the Window. But so far, thrillers are my jam this year so far. Okay, that's all the books that I read for January 2018. Mostly Book of the Month Club books. I think I only have like 2 left. One is in a read a chapter unhaul edition that I have not filmed yet, and the other I still have sitting on my TBR shelf. And of course, February come around and I'll get a book for February. But I am happy with how many Book of the Month Club books that I've read, because, you know, it was starting to get out of hand. Anyway, have you read any of these? Most of you have probably read Harry Potter. Not all, I know, and that's fine. But did you enjoy them? Do you like adult thrillers as much as I apparently do? Because January is apparently the, hey, let's read thrillers month? I don't know. Either way, that's all I have for you today. Until next time, have a great day wherever you are, and I love you. Bye.